Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. She rolled her suitcase to the door, leaned in, and touched her mouth to my cheek like she was signing for a package. No warmth, no pause. Then, it's just 3 days, Ryan. Don't make it a thing. She grabbed her tote, reached for the handle, then doubled back to the vanity and set down the necklace I'd seen on her since our first Thanksgiving together. The never take it off necklace. She left it there like a receipt. Conference in Phoenix, she added from the hallway, already scanning her watch. Text if something breaks. Her phone lit up on the counter when she went for the garage. A banner reminder flashed near the top. Flight 683, Charleston, 3:05 p.m. Charleston, not Phoenix. She caught me looking and tilted her head. Work calendar stuff, she said. They changed the gate. The gate all the way across the country? Please don't start, she replied, and the garage door shut behind her. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have set the coffee to strong and the house to silent. Instead, I stood by the vanity, stared at the necklace, and made the first calm decision that mattered. I opened our shared calendar, scrolled back 2 months, and marked the nights she'd been in the field. Then I killed the shared setting. My schedule was my schedule now. I wasn't going to be the guy putting my day on her stage. I took a picture of the necklace where she'd left it, front and back, time-stamped. Then I put it in a drawer, not as evidence, just to keep the counter clean. A small, house-level boundary. If she wanted to perform absence, I wasn't doing props. I texted her 3 words, have a safe one. The read receipt landed and vanished. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Conference might go long. Don't wait up. Sure, Melissa. I had no plans to. The first scene that mattered played out in daylight. I was at my desk, mug cold because I lost the thread of the morning, spreadsheet open with a yawning gap where a quarterly line item should have been. We run operations for a mid-sized contractor. My job is the unglamorous thing called keeping numbers honest. The building AC hummed. My coworker Nate leaned on my doorway, chewing gum like he was trying to convince it to stay alive. You good? He asked. You look like you swallowed a receipt. Just balancing accounts, I answered. You need something? Lunch traffic, he said, flicking his eyes toward the parking lot. If we leave now, we might get a shot at a sandwich before the city remembers it's hungry. I'm going to call the card company first, I told him. You go? I'll catch up. He lingered. Carla from HR said you asked about beneficiary forms yesterday. We updating things. Just housekeeping. He nodded, didn't press. Nate's one of those guys who knows when to quit digging. That's why we get along. After he left, I pulled up the joint card portal. Months of hotel charges, flights, restaurant spends. Nothing shocking for 2 professionals, except the pattern. Bookings that lined up with her fieldwork dates, a run of hotel stays in conference cities, and 2 interesting details. Same property double occupancy fees, and a travel note that said, twice, add second guest at check-in. Same last name on the folio once. Edwards, not Edward. A fat finger, a habit, or a smirk. In a boutique hotel in Charleston with a room service bill for 2 breakfasts at 7:20 a.m., 1 omelet with bacon, 1 fruit plate with almond milk cappuccino. I don't eat fruit plates. Melissa doesn't either unless she's performing discipline for someone. I called the card company. The rep had the voice of a kindergarten teacher and the patience of a mountain. Hi, I'm looking at recent charges, I said. Can you confirm merchant notes on booking 6,732? Yes, last Saturday? She put me on hold, came back with the script. I can confirm the merchant name and date. I can't read you notes. Fine. Close the joint card. I told her. Issue me a separate one. Keep the credit line, different numbers. I'll handle the auto pays. That will separate spending histories, she warned. Good, I said. That's the point. I scheduled transfers. Mortgage, mine now. Utilities, mine. Her car insurance, her problem by Friday. I wasn't punishing, I was tidying. If you wobble a table and it rocks, you adjust a leg. You don't write poems about stability. Nate returned, handed me a wrapped sandwich anyway. You didn't come, he said. Saving my appetite, I said. He nodded again. You know, my dad used to say, if someone wants to make you the villain of their story, don't argue, just leave the book. Smart man, I replied. Stubborn, he grinned. But smart. At 3:18, Melissa sent a photo of a beige conference room, and a paper badge on a lanyard. No faces, just dots and rectangles. The caption, panels all day. You? I typed, numbers and quiet. Try not to fall asleep. She hearted it. 10 minutes later, they added a dinner. Don't wait up if I drop. Don't wait up again. It's not a request, it's a script. I called our leasing office around 5. Kim, the manager, answered on the second ring. Hey, Kim, it's Ryan in 2B. Hypothetically, if I wanted to be the sole leaseholder at renewal. Not hypothetical? She chuckled. We can do that. There's a form for removing a party if both sign. If not both sign, there's a process. Good to know. When does renewal hit? I asked. End of next month. Send me the forms today, I said. I'll bring them by. I didn't chase what wasn't mine. I just made sure what was mine didn't drift. 2 nights later, I got the script message. Conference extended, back Monday. Classic. I didn't answer. I shut down the TV, closed the spreadsheet, and drove to my brother's house to help him fix a door that never wanted to meet its frame. Menial work is good when your head wants to run in circles. My sister-in-law handed me lemonade while she and my nephew argued about whose turn it was to take out the trash. Family is noisy in a way that makes your chest feel normal. On my way home, Melissa pinged me again. I'm wrecked. Don't wake me when you get home. I pulled into our garage 30 minutes later and found her side empty. The suitcase was still gone. Her wrecked bed was made in a hotel somewhere. I didn't say anything to her. I said it to myself. You see what you see. The next morning, she bounced a light apology my way over text. Sorry for the tone when I left. Work's just nonstop. I know I've been short. I answered, noted. She tried to push warmth into the messages after that. How's the house? Did you eat? Photo of a croissant, she didn't finish. The first illusion, just enough care to see whether the locks were still open. That afternoon she called. Hey, she started, too bright. There's this presentation in October. Chicago. Big for us. They invited me to pitch. Congrats. I'll probably be out a few days to prep. Don't roll your eyes. I'm not rolling anything, I told her. By the way, I'm moving my gym sessions to mornings. And I'm taking my weekends off the joint schedule. If you need something, text me. No more calendar invites. A pause. Then, since when do you need to be mysterious? Since the invites started feeling like commands, I replied. Saves us both the hassle. She breathed through her nose into the phone. Are you mad about something? I'm protecting my time. So, boundaries? Her voice had that light, mocking squint she did with words. Okay, Mr. Boundaries. Call me whatever you like, I said. Just not at midnight with last-minute switches. That era's done. She shifted. Fine. It's good you're strong about your schedule. I support it. Great, I said. I support honesty. Another pause. I'll bring your favorite ribs tonight, she offered. Peace offering. I almost laughed. She never once offered ribs unprompted. You do you, I said. I've got plans. With who? My wrench set, I told her. Front door's loose. Fun, she said dry. Very, I said. The call ended with the same neutral beep it began with. I went to the door and tightened hinges while the sun leaned low against the street. Small work. Centered work. I didn't tell myself a story about a man fixing a door to keep a marriage inside. I fixed a door. The weekend after she returned, our friend group had a backyard thing at Mike's place. He's the good kind of loud, the kind that never lets a silence get awkward. His wife, Tasha, likes to orchestrate and see what shakes out. If there's a social chessboard, she sets the pieces and watches. I came alone. Melissa texted, running late. Don't wait, start without me. It was mid-afternoon heat in a suburb that smelled like charcoal, mulch, and pride. Kids darted around with plastic balls, and every third person had some take on the grill. Tasha spotted me at the cooler. Where's your other half? Work, I said. She lives there now. Must be exhausting being so important, she replied, sugar sliding. Yeah, I wouldn't know, I said, popping a seltzer. Nate and his wife were there too. He gave me that small chin nod again. I nodded back. We don't do hugs at these things unless someone's bleeding. Melissa arrived an hour later in a dress that knew it was being watched. She kissed Tasha, waved at Mike, and came up to me like we were alumni, and the reunion committee forced interaction. She touched my arm. You made it, she said. You told me to, I answered. Charming, she went breezy. Can you help me with a plate? We walked to the food table. She leaned in close but kept her voice low, the kind of private that wants to be seen. Can you not be that guy today? What guy? The guy with the face. The judge. I'm not judging, I told her. I just got here and I'm eating pulled pork like it's my job. Relax. Good, she replied. Because people talk. They notice when a couple is off. They also notice when a person performs comfort she doesn't intend to deliver, I said, spooning beans. She laughed and called it cute. You're getting dramatic in your 40s. I didn't answer. I handed her a plate. She spent the next 20 minutes bouncing from circle to circle, telling a story about a nightmare flight that had everything short of goats in the aisle. She's charming when she wants to be. Charm is an engine that doesn't care where it's going as long as it moves. Mike pulled me aside near the garage. You two okay? He's blunt. That's why I like him. We're coming to terms with time zones, I said. He nodded. She was in Charleston last weekend, right? Tasha thought she saw her in a photo from the rooftop. Could be old. Could be, I said. You good? I'm steady, I told him. Steady is enough. When Melissa finally drifted back to me, she did it with a stage smile. So, she said, placing the smile between us like a placemat. Tasha wants to do a couple's trip. Lake house thing. Should I tell her we're in? Tell her we'll see, I replied. Her smile sharpened. We need to commit. People plan around us. Then they can plan around we'll see, I said. Ryan, she said, voice lowering into warning. You can't be passive-aggressive about everything. I'm being clear, I said. We'll see. Tasha walked up at that exact perfect moment because of course she did. We booking the lake, lovers. Yay or nay? We'll see. I answered, meeting Melissa's eyes. Tasha frowned. That sounds like a maybe with a sweater on. It's a boundary with a coat, I said. Melissa laughed too loudly. He's practicing being mysterious. It looks good on him, Nate's wife joked from behind her cup. It looks like a man who doesn't want to honor plans. Melissa shot back, just sharp enough that 3 heads turned. I let the silence sit for half a beat. Then, I honor what honors me. Put, we'll see on the board. If that's not enough, book without us. Tasha opened her mouth, then decided she was outclassed by the heat and the vibe. Okay, she said. I'll circle back. Melissa leaned in as Tasha walked. You embarrassed me. You tried to do it first, I told her, still quiet. You missed. She gripped her cup. You're being petty. No, I said. I'm done with autopilot, yes. Her lips pressed thin. Then at least hold your face like you love your wife. I'll hold my face however I want. She turned and went back to her circuit. That was the first public boundary. No yelling. No scene. Just a line that stayed where I drew it. Around dusk, a group photo happened on the deck. Everyone squeezed. Someone's aunt lifted the phone. The kids yelled something they saw on TV. Melissa pressed at my side just long enough for the shutter. An hour later, she uploaded a story. String lights, laughter, glasses. If you squinted at one of the photos near the end, the reflection in the patio door wasn't a guest's wrist. It was a watch in the glass behind her head, angled, familiar in a way that made the back of my neck count the years. A heavy, square, distinct face watch. Edward wore it like a badge when we used to all overlap in those early career years. Melissa's ex before me, the creative consultant who always had a new city to live in. The man loved that watch like it told him who he was. I scrolled back through the hotel folios and travel notes in my head. I remembered the Charleston bill. Then I tapped through Melissa's story again, stopped at the reflection, zoomed. Not clean enough to print, clean enough to recognize. Kill turn, delivered by a patio door. I texted her. No rush, meeting started here, too. 3 dots appeared. Stopped. Appeared. Stopped. Then, please don't. Not denial. Not confusion. A hand hitting a brake. I put my phone in my pocket and helped Mike carry chairs to the garage. When I left, I shook his hand. He squeezed mine in a way that said he'd seen enough to know the shape of things. I didn't explain. Men like Mike don't ask for what you don't offer. Back home, I pulled the folder from my desk, the one I'd started building after the necklace on the vanity. Bank confirmations, new card numbers, the email from Kim with the lease form, a notarized change on my beneficiary. I added screenshots, the hotel logins, the double guest note, the Charleston room service. The photo of the reflection. I wasn't going to hurl this like a spear. It wasn't a weapon. It was an administrative decision. I slept like a man with a plan, which is to say quietly. The next morning, I stopped by the leasing office. Kim greeted me with the bright professionalism of someone who'd seen every kind of domestic switch. "Hey, 2B, she smiled. "Forms printed." "Thank you," I said. "If one signature doesn't happen, what's the next step?" "We verify occupancy, update records, and adjust. If you need movers on short notice, the building has a list." "I'll take that list," I nodded. At lunch, I met with Carla in HR. She's practical and kind, two talents that should be paid more. "Usually people come in with a look on their face," she said as we reviewed forms. "You're calm. Clarity is soothing," I replied. She clicked her pen. "We can push these updates through by end of day. If you want me to hold anything, say so." "No holds," I said. "All at once." Back at my desk, Nate hovered again. "You're doing a lot of paperwork for someone who claims to be fine," he said. "I'm making sure future me sends me a thank you note," I told him. He whistled quietly. "You going to confront?" "No," I said. "I'm going to present." He nodded. "There's a difference." "Big one." That evening, I stopped by a storage unit. Rented 1 month, ground floor. I moved the boxes with my name on them. Tools, memorabilia, old yearbooks, the small set of records I actually spin, into the truck. I didn't take anything that required a conversation. Just what I had brought into the marriage, things with my fingerprints on them already. Logistics isn't drama, it's dignity. At home, the lights were on in the kitchen. Melissa stood at the counter arranging a plate of store-bought cookies on our nice platter like it mattered where they breathed. That was the second illusion, the big one, too sweet after an earthquake. "Hey, stranger," she chirped. "I thought we could have a nice night. I got your favorite. And I was thinking, maybe we take a weekend, just us? Reset." "A weekend," I repeated. "Chicago, maybe. I can show you the venue," she said, breezy. "Make it fun." "You want to show me your stage?" I replied. "But not the seats." She blinked. "What does that even mean?" "I means I'm not interested in a tour." She tried another angle. "I missed you," she said softer. "And I know I've been a lot. I want to make it up to you." "You can't," I said. She stepped back as if the counter moved. "Are you kidding me with this attitude?" I set the folder on the island and flipped it open. "Let's talk reality." Her eyes cut down to the paper. Bank forms on top. The lease notice underneath. A list of movers with a date. "What is this?" she asked, reaching but not touching. "This is me taking my name back where it belongs," I said. "Joint accounts separated. Auto pays adjusted. Lease updated. Movers booked for morning." Her face went still. "You booked movers?" "I did." "For what?" "For me," I said. "I'm moving out." "You're leaving?" Her voice broke on the word like it needed a witness. "I'm removing myself from a situation that disrespects me." She exhaled hard. "You're overreacting." I tapped the folder. "I'm doing math. You can't just decide this." "I can," I said. I did. She flipped pages, landed on a print of the Charleston folio. "Where did you get this?" "Online," I said. "Like everyone." The second guest note is generous. The reflection in the photo was sloppy. She went pale around the mouth, then flushed. "You're insane." "You texted, please don't," I told her. "You're not fighting about facts. You're fighting about timing." She pushed the cookies away like they offended her. "So you're just leaving without a conversation?" "This is the conversation," I said. "You went first." "I went where I needed to for my career," she said, the old line picking up its jacket. "You've never understood what it takes to be taken seriously." I gestured at the papers. "It takes being in 2 places at once." "Neat trick. I can't do it. I can do this." "So that's it." She put both hands on the counter, wedding band catching the light. "You're going to destroy our life because you're insecure?" "I'm going to exit a life that asked me to clap for my own absence," I said. "You wanted comfort in cover. You can have one. I'm done providing the other." Her mouth twisted. "You think you're noble. You're running." "Running is frantic," I said. "This is planned." She quieted like a machine shutting off. "What do you want then? Do you want me to beg? Is that the game?" "No games," I told her. "Just packing. Movers at 9. I'll take the guest room tonight." "You think you can humiliate me like this?" "I think I can refuse to be humiliated," I said. "There's a difference." "People will know," she hissed. "Our friends. Work. They already know enough," I said. "And what they think doesn't make me sleep better or worse." She stared at the folder again. "You removed me from the lease." "I removed your control over my housing," I corrected. You can stay. Or not. I don't care. You don't care? She tried shock. Went for the faint. After everything? After everything you did while calling it something else, I answered. And after everything I did while you were gone. She slapped the folder closed like it was loud. I hate this version of you. It's the only one available, I said. She pulled her phone. You're being cruel. I'm being clear, I repeated. Clarity feels cruel when you're used to fog. She turned away, walked to the sink, ran water for no reason, and kept it running. So what? She said into the faucet. I'm supposed to just accept this? No fight. You can fight air if you want, I said, headed for the hallway. It won't punch back. Ryan, she called, voice switching registers, the soft one again. Please, don't do this. We can fix it. We can't, I said. And we won't. I slept in the guest room with the door closed. I set my alarm for 7 and woke up at 6 because men my age don't need alarms when the day has a shape. Morning came with the sound of a truck outside and Melissa's footsteps like she was learning to walk again. She stood in the doorway of the guest room while I zipped the bag I'd packed weeks ago. A small act that became a big moment because of timing. You're really going to do this, she said. I already am, I answered. She crossed her arms, then let them drop. Can we at least set terms? Who gets what? My clients. Your clients are yours, I said. Your furniture is negotiable. My stuff's already sorted. You're making me the villain, she tried. You did that work yourself, I replied. I'm just closing the book. She watched me pick up the folder. What are you going to tell people? The truth, I said. In small sentences. She flinched at the word truth like it had sharp edges. The movers came in, 2 guys named Luis and Kenny. Professionals. I showed them what to grab. My boxes from the spare closet, the tool chest, the record player, 1 bookshelf. Luis nodded, efficient. We'll wrap the shelf, he said. No dings. Appreciated, I told him. Melissa hovered. You can't take the shelf, she argued. I bought it, I said. 2 years ago. I have the receipt. This is barbaric, she whispered. Kenny walked by with a box and didn't look at us. Smart man. Where are you going? Melissa asked, staking on one last lever. Somewhere with a lock and no shared calendar, I answered. You won't have access. That's childish. It's adult, I said. Childish is saying, don't wait up, and then sending me a picture of a room you're not in. She winced, and for a second, I almost felt the old instinct to make it easier. Then I remembered the patio door reflection and the please don't. That didn't mean stop being unfair. It meant don't blow my cover. I'll have Tasha call you. She tried next, desperation finally showing through the neat hair. She can mediate. I don't need a referee, I said. Game's over. She sank onto one of the stools at the island like the stool cared. Do you even love me? She asked, the line you throw when the ship already turned. I respect myself, I answered. That's more stable than what you're asking for. Luis and Kenny finished in under an hour. When they left, I did one last walkthrough like a stranger considering the place for rent. Melissa followed me, steps behind but always there, like a ghost that hadn't decided which room to haunt. In the bedroom, she touched the necklace box on the drawer I'd put away earlier and opened it with a click. Why did you move this? She asked softly, as if that was the offense. Because it looked wrong on the counter, I said. Like a headstone. She shut the box. You're cold. I'm precise. At the door, she tried one final script. If you walk out, you can't come back. I know, I said. I planned it that way. Who is she? She threw in the old projection. There is no she, I said. There's me. What am I supposed to tell people? She asked again, smaller. Tell them you had a schedule conflict, I said, hand on the knob. She blinked. That's cruel. No, I replied. That's symmetrical. I opened the door. She stood there waiting for something cinematic. I gave her one sentence like a receipt printed clean. You wanted the kind of life where I don't exist unless it's convenient, I said. Here's the convenience. You don't. I shut the door behind me and walked to the truck. Kenny gave me the clipboard. I signed. Luis nodded like men do when words would just embarrass the moment. We pulled away slow. Epilogue is quieter than people think. The condo I moved into faces a strip of trees and a service road that nobody uses after 8. That's peace. I bought a used pickup because I like hauling my own gear. The first weekend I slept there, I made coffee too strong and leaned against the counter while the sun found the blinds. Simple, normal moves. Work got easier. You'd be amazed how much bandwidth you get back when you're not triangulating someone else's fog. I took the morning gym slot and stuck to it. Nate and I started lifting on Thursdays because he claimed I needed a spot unless I wanted to die of ambition. Carla helped me sort the last of the benefits in a 10-minute meeting that would have taken me months to endure under the old regime of "we'll handle it later." On a Saturday in September, I was at a community volunteer build-out installing shelving in a rec center. A woman named Claire measured better than I did and didn't gloat. She laughed when I accused the studs of moving on me. We got tacos after with a group and didn't talk about careers like trophies. If you need a movie moment, there it is. Two people eating and listening more than they speak. As for Melissa, word travels like heat. You don't push it, it moves anyway. Mike texted me once, "You good? Need anything?" Tasha posted a vague meme about men who can't handle a strong woman and got 15 likes, which is about 13 more than it deserved. Someone mentioned seeing Melissa at a rooftop bar in a different city with a guy wearing a square watch and a sense of being unbothered by witnesses. I didn't confirm. I didn't need proof anymore. Proof is a tool. You put it down when the job is done. The only time Melissa reached out after the move was a short message that read, "You made your point. Now what?" I didn't answer. There's freedom in not feeding a line you never wanted to be on in the first place. I kept the shelf, the records, the tools. I kept my mornings and my quiet and my respect. That's the inventory. Everything else returned to the store. A few weeks in, I ran into Kim from the leasing office at the coffee spot downstairs. She asked, "You liking the place?" "It's honest," I said. She smiled like she knew more of the story than she should. Honest is good. Later that morning, I found the necklace in the bottom of a box I'd labeled miscellaneous. It must have slid in when I swept the drawer. I drove it over to the old building, handed it to the front desk, left no note. It wasn't mine to keep. It wasn't mine to parse. Here's the thing people don't say out loud. Endings aren't loud by default. Sometimes they're a man sitting at a kitchen island, handing over a folder and refusing to argue with his own dignity. Sometimes they're a truck door closing and a sentence that turns off the light on a lie. Sometimes they're tacos with someone who measures straight and laughs at the studs. I don't miss being the on-call resource for someone else's dual life scheduling. I don't miss "Don't wait up." I don't miss the public performance that wanted my applause as payment. I do enjoy walking into my own home and knowing every object and plan aligns with my name. I enjoy a Sunday drive with no destination and a Monday morning with no half-truths. I enjoy the quiet humility of a life without scripts. People ask for a lesson like I'm handing out pamphlets. Here's mine. When someone builds a system where your absence is a feature, you don't scream. You don't bargain. You don't memorize their rules. You write your own. You stop being scenery. You step out. And when the person who turned you into background says, "Please don't," you answer with the only sentence that matters: "No."